Alright boys, welcome to Backups 101. I'm Liam DeVoe, class of 2020. I set up backups for Sargon and Binks. I'm just going to quickly walk through what I did, some documentation of it, and most importantly, how to restore from backups, which is what we actually care about. So, first things first, SSH into either Sargon or Binks. I am at home currently, so don't have SSH key set up. I really should do that at some point. Okay, so the sysops in previous years used something called rsync to take backups, but it wasn't very good. It's pretty messy, and they had all these scripts everywhere. It wasn't consolidated, so we repurposed a Dell 3010, which is just a general school computer, and we bought a 4 terabyte hard drive external, and we stuck it on that. And we called it XNIB with 2 eyes, because the previous machine was called XNIB. I know, we're very original. And yeah, that's sitting somewhere in the sysops room. Who knows where it is by the time you're watching this. But knowing how well we maintain that room, which is not very, it'll still be there. So, I'll show you the cron that does the backups first. So I'm just going to log in as root here. Cron tab-e. Alright, hopefully the colors come out okay on this. I think they're fine. Alright, here it is, right here. So this runs a backup daily at 3 a.m. We're not using rsync, I should have clarified. We're using RDIF backup, which you can kind of see in the background here, the documentation for. But RDIF backup acts very similar to rsync. It takes incremental backups, so it's not taking all the information that was changed. It's not taking all the information every time. It's only taking what information was changed, just like GitHub does for commits. All right, so RDIF backup takes the backup. We're excluding some file list that's in our root directory, and I'll show you what's in that file list in a second. And then it's backing it up, backing up the entire root directory of Sargon to XNIB, and this is XNIB's IP. And it's backing up to backup/Sargon. And we have backups Binks and backups Gothmog. Yeah, so that runs daily. I will show you this next. Okay, so I realized that my camera was not tilted to the right angle to let you see what I was talking about, so I just cut and I'm going to re-record this. Alright, so here's what we're backing up. Not backing up. /proc, which is just current process information that we definitely don't care about backing up. Stuff like all the processes currently running on the machine. You can feel free to look up what that directory does if you want. Sysdev boot are all like static run it boot type things, I'm pretty sure. So stuff like, the ls command, that's probably stored in /bin, but stuff like that. Not entirely clear, but we don't care about backing any of these up because they're static and they don't change, and we can just get them from a fresh install of Linux. They come with the install. We don't, we're not making modifications to them after, so we don't care about backing them up. This one is something we're backing up the entirety of /var right now, except for this, which is maybe a mistake, but we keep a lot of our log files there. This one especially, though, was a lot of, this is like group permissions, and there's just a crap ton of files that was in this directory, and they were causing a lot of errors when we backed up with RDIF backup because something was trying to write to the files at the same time that we were trying to back them up. And it just generated massive error logs every single day. So I didn't think there was anything worth backing up in here, so I was just like, well, let's just exclude it because I don't want to deal with the errors. Okay, so that's what's being excluded. Let's go back here. No, never mind. We already did that. Okay. So that's backups. Now let's let's take a look at the actual file structure of the backups, of the backup xnib. All right. So these Sargon and xnib have SSH keys exchanged because they need to be able to automatically SSH when they want to back up. Both Sargon and Binx have keys exchanged. So that's why I was able to do that automatically. Okay. Not cron tab. We're going to take a look at this. Okay, so this is the entirety of the Sargon root directory. Just just keeps the same file name, keeps the same permissions, everything. Let's take a look at this is the log files. This is not in Sargon's root directory. This is generated by Art of Backup when it takes the files. Right now it just dumps them here. If we are not lazy, we will have written a script by the time you watch this to compress all these, or just delete the ones we don't care about, like all these session statistics, or dump them in a clean folder somewhere. But just to kind of talk about one random statistic, let's just choose today's. Started at 3 a.m. almost exactly. Took about 25 minutes. That's pretty typical. At least for Sargon, for Binx it takes a little bit longer. And about 150 megabytes were changed. There were 4 errors. Those are, as I said, trying to read at the same time another file is trying to write, so those can generally be ignored. And 4 is very small anyway. 2,000 files were changed, 22 were deleted, there were 100 new ones. So the vast majority of the information is coming from change files, which probably makes sense because of log files that are still the same files the day before. They haven't grown large enough yet to become a new log file. Okay, so and this is documented if you want to learn more about how to read one of these or how to interpret the information stored here. And xnib is just a standard Linux installation, so I don't know why I closed that. Oh, yes I do. Okay, so we are in Sargon right now, and I'm going to show you how to actually restore a backup. So I made this hello.txt a while ago, December, so like 4 months ago. It says, today's Sunday, 9:53 a.m. You can tell I procrastinated because I wrote the demo for this 4 months ago. So we're going to change that. We're going to say, today is Friday, 10:36 p.m. Okay. And now we've changed that. So this is the command to back up. I did not mean for it to enter, but that's okay. Art of backup /r. That means this is shorthand for -- restore as of, and then now is the time. You can also pass the restore as of like 3 days ago, or 3 weeks, or 3 months. And there's a bunch more advanced time specifications that you can see on the Artif wiki. But generally, you want to restore the most recent. Well, not generally, but at least for this example, we want to store the most recent because we accidentally made some change to this file, and we want it as it was, as soon as possible. So yeah, -r now. And then this is SSHing to the root user of xnib. It's fine that all the sysops know the root password because it's our machine, so it's not really a big concern. Unlike knowing the root password to Sargon or Binx, although even Sargon, I don't know how it'll be structured in the future. Okay, so then you give it the full path to the file that you want to restore from. So in this case, backup Sargon, and then the present working directory, and then the file. So if we take a look at the present working directory, if it'll let me clear the terminal, you can see that that's that part, and then the file you want to restore. and then you tell it the output file. So you can actually restore this to like hello2.txt, and the password is back it up no spaces, and if we ls, you'll see the hello2.txt. See, the hello2.txt has the information we saw before. But if you want, usually you don't want to store a new file, you want to store the file that there was previously, so you can do that too. Type back it up again, and you can exchange SSH keys if you want, if you know you'd find it annoying to enter this information every time. What is going on? Back it up. I don't know what happened there. Oh, right. So if it already exists, you need to add -force. That is fine. I cannot type. Apologies that this went a little bit longer than I planned. But there you go. And now you can see that both hello2 and hello.txt have the information we cared about. And that change we made, saying that it was Friday 1038 or whatever, is lost because we just overwrote the file with the previous edition. So if you want to keep that, you'd have to back it up with Artif backup or make a backup manually, like copy hello.txt to hello.txt or whatever, .txt tilde or whatever, and then restore to hello.txt. Hopefully that made some sense. Again, the Artif backup wiki is pretty good. It's not the most well-known program necessarily. rsync, I'm sure, is much more well-known, but it just does the job just fine for what we care about, and I think it's pretty easy to use. So I think that is it. Yeah, one thing to just briefly talk about Xnib, you have to do a double SSH to get into it because it has a local IP address only. It's actually not connected to the internet. That was not intentional. We think it's something to do with Gothmog, and that might be fixed by the time you're watching this, but it was not intentional that it's not connected to Wi-Fi, but it is not. So it just has a local IP address. You SSH to either Briggs or Sargon, then you can SSH to the IP. And just so it's in plain text, the password is back it up like that for root. And if that is changed, then it will be documented somewhere, I hope, or someone will have remade this video. Anyway, that is basically it. There's a lot more advanced usage, as I say, to Artif backup. That was just very basic. All right, well, good luck on your sysop duties. I will see you later.